How does this keep happening? At some point, the Seahawks have to get some respect. At some point, the NFL has to do right by one of the best teams in the National Football League and start caring more about the product that they put out and start highlighting the Seattle Seahawks more. Welcome into Seahawks Today. I'm your host, Will Ortner, and everyone knows that this is the game of the week. It's the 7-2 Seahawks versus the 7-2 LA Rams. It's for the NFC West division lead. And honestly, the winner of this game could, potentially, will be the number one team in the entire NFC conference. Yet, the NFL and the media continues to downplay this matchup. It is very frustrating, and I'm going to get into this video where I talk about what the media in the NFL is doing against our Seattle Seahawks. But before I do that, I need you to go in and like the video because you want the Seahawks to beat the Los Angeles Rams. Like the video. Don't be the one who jinxes it. Now, when you look at when the Seahawks are playing this game, it is at the 3:05 time slot Central Time, 1:05 Pacific Time. Why are the Seahawks in this slot and not one of the prime time games for this matchup? You can see the entire NFL Week 11 slate here, and you might notice a thing or two. There's some pretty decent games, but I'd say that Thursday night New England versus New York game, that game sucks. Cowboys versus the Raiders sucks. And there's a couple other big-time games that people are highlighting that I don't think are top matchups or should be viewed as highly as I might view the Seahawks versus the Rams. Overall, it is a very good slate. But aside from the Sunday night matchup, Lions and Eagles, I don't think that the primetime games are, going to be good games. Even the CBS 1:25 Pacific Time game, Kansas City versus the Denver Broncos, I don't think it holds a candle to the Seahawks and the Rams. Now, I'm going to get into the reasons why I am angry, and the first one is there are no double prime time matchups. What you might not realize is that on Week 16, the Rams and the Seahawks are going to be the Thursday night matchup up in Lumen Field. And so, while I do think the NFL is trying to do right by Fox and by CBS and making no double primetime matchups for in-divisional opponents, I still think that this is a stupid decision. I think it is a dumb rule. Now, why are they doing this? It's because they don't want the Eagles and the Giants, a game that a lot of people care about, to have both games on Monday Night Football or a Monday night and a Sunday night. They're doing this so that you don't have classic matchups like the Cowboys versus the Eagles, both be prime time. Throw in, I don't know, Lions, Bears, or Bears, Packers. There are certain matchups, Baltimore versus Pittsburgh, that they want to have at least one game on Fox or CBS because Fox and CBS paid a lot of money to have these main Sunday lineup. I still think that if Fox and CBS are going to make sure they get at least one divisional game, they promote the game the correct way. Right now, this Rams-Seahawks game is absolutely buried on the Sunday slot. What a lot of people don't realize about how the NFL works is you have these games called single matchup games. And what that means is Fox is only going to carry one game. They are not going to carry multiple games in a doubleheader fashion. So the reason why this is frustrating for Seahawk fans is that in these single header matchups, you're not going to get more of a national broadcast like you might if you were, say, on CBS this week with the doubleheader matchup. One game in the morning or in the early slate and one game in the late slate. When you look at the map for the teams or the places that are going to see the Seahawks versus the Rams game, it is very small. I know it's hard for some people to see, so I'll point it out to you. The big blue spots, that's going to be places that see the Seahawks versus the Rams. So most of the Pacific Northwest, they are going to be covered. That little area down there in Southern California, basically, we're going to call that LA down, right? They are going to get to see this matchup. And then there's little splotches in the Midwest they're going to see this game. But for the most part, most of the country isn't going to watch what I would say, and I think most smart people in the National Football League would say, is the biggest game of the year. And it's frustrating that the Seahawks just happen to fall in that single header network situation. Again, if you are going to be in the single header, which basically means Fox is going to broadcast whatever that local game is only. So, if you are an old school person and you do not have, the NFL Sunday ticket, you are only going to get what is being aired locally. So if you're a fan of, say, the Bears-Vikings, you're going to get that in the early slate, and then there will be no late slate. That isn't allowing this game, the most important game, to get the eyeballs on it that it deserves. So many people are going to miss out on a top matchup in the NFL, and it's ever frustrating. It's so freaking frustrating to me. The other part that's frustrating about this to me is who you have on the broadcast team of this matchup. Now, I'm not saying that the crew is bad per se. I'm saying that Fox didn't put the correct crew on this game, and I'm going to explain who that crew is and why it should be a different crew in just a moment. But I do want to make sure that I talk to you about our sub battle, or at least who we're trying to catch here at Chat Sports. Right now, Dolphins Today is the closest Chat Sports channel ahead of us. We are within basically 2,000 subscribers of the Dolphins channel. They were basically 7,000, 8,000 ahead of us by the time this 2025 NFL season started. Help us get there. We're reeling them in, no pun intended. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do subscribe. So this picture shows the Fox announcing teams. And I don't know if you can tell, but Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt, that's the number one crew. That secondary crew, that Greg Olsen crew, kind of hard to see there on that top left side. That is the secondary crew for the Fox team. Basically, they are going to get the B game. The Fox main announcing crew, they're going to get the A game. Guess who is calling the Seattle freaking Seahawks game? The Seahawks are playing the Rams. It's the number one game on the Sunday slate that isn't a primetime game, and it isn't the A team. It's Greg Olsen and the B team. The A team, they're calling this potential snoozer. Who cares about the Bears and the Vikings? Unless you're looking to see if Caleb Williams is going to be the guy or J.J. McCarthy is going to be the guy, there is no reason that Burkhardt, James, and Aaron Andrews should be calling that game. They should be calling the number one game, the most important game, the game that's going to mean the most for the 2025 NFL season, and that's the Seahawks and the Rams. How did Fox screw this up? How? I get it. The Bears are a little bit bigger of a brand. Maybe the Vikings are a little bit bigger of a brand than both the Seahawks and the Rams. But it's not that hard. There's a better game. There is a game that clearly should be 1A, and that one should be 1B. It seems ridiculous once you say it out loud that the Seahawks don't get the A treatment, the preferential treatment. It's the better game with two playoff teams. The other one has a team that isn't even in the playoff picture right now. And I know that we're a long way away from the playoffs, but the Vikings have some makeup work to do if they want to get into that role. Take the game that has two teams fighting for, at worst, the second spot in the NFC. Absolutely ridiculous. Am I crazy? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you just say that I'm crazy, I'm going to be a little bit upset with you. But does the NFL and the media hate the Seahawks? Because right now I kind of feel like they do. If you agree with me in the comments, say yes. If you disagree with me in the comments, say no. I got another reason that I want to get into why I'm so angry about what's happening to the Seahawks. But before I do that, I need to tell you about my good friends over at PrizePicks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with PrizePicks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off, which ones are overhyped. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. I have a little 3-pick power play for the weekend's action. JSN, more on his rush plus receiving TD. Matthew Stafford, less on his passing yards. Sam Darnold, more on his passing yards. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Now, the first 2 reasons why I'm angry has nothing really to do with me or the Seahawks or any other reason why my blood is boiling. The no double primetime matchups, that's the NFL's mandate. And then, honestly, the broadcast team and where the Seahawks are put in the time slot, that's Fox and CBS just being really stupid. Unfortunately, I expected all of this. How often have we seen teams on the left coast, the best coast, get ignored, getting forgotten about? It's stupid in the NFL, but I still kind of think it's true. It's more of a thing in college where I feel like the big-time experts or the voters, they go to sleep before the Seahawks play. Or in this case, they're out there writing their stories or they're watching the old-school East Coast matchups instead of paying attention to the Seahawks. We should be used to this from the NFL. The NFL continues to push the Seahawks down. You cannot tell me that Legion of Boom team in the early 2010s shouldn't have been more hyped up, shouldn't have been more thought about. I mean, just think about that Super Bowl. What was the talk going into it? It was how good this Denver Broncos team was, and they're going to roll through everybody. Even the next year when you played the Patriots, it was, can Tom Brady finally win another one? It wasn't about the Seahawks, which had been the best team at least through that point in the decade and had the bones of becoming one of the best teams in NFL history. I still think one of the best defenses in NFL history. We saw it at the beginning of this year. The Seahawks were projected to be the worst team in the NFC West, which, by the way, if you watch Seahawks Today and are subscribed to the channel, you'd know that I said that was ludicrous and stupid, moronic, to even think that the Seahawks would be behind the Cardinals. I was a little bit bullish on the team, saying that they should have been higher, closer to the Rams, closer to the 49ers, closer to the top of the division. But it's ridiculous. Seattle, the West Coast in general, but specifically Seattle and the PNW, we never get any love. We get treated with no respect after we've gone out and earned it time in and time again. I'm tired, man. I'm tired of having to fight the good fight. I'm never going to stop. You're going to see a lot of West Coast propaganda here on Seahawks Today, specifically about your Seattle Seahawks. I want them to continue to win. I want them to continue to march. They're starting to get a little bit of love, or at least individual players are, but seeing how this game is being buried tells me that the NFL doesn't really care about the Seahawks, that Fox doesn't really care about the Seahawks, that CBS doesn't really care about the Seahawks. They care about a stupid matchup between the Bears and the Vikings, 2 teams that might not even make the playoffs. But because they're in the Midwest, we got to make sure we show them with the A team. Stupid. It's absolutely stupid. What's not stupid is liking the video. If you like the video, you're going to help the Seahawks win on Sunday. Don't be the person that doesn't like the video and put the Seahawks in a bad spot. Like the video, don't jinx it. Remember, we've always got Seahawks news videos coming out here. The more that you like, the more that it helps us out, gets the videos out to more Seahawk fans. So we appreciate it every time that you do that. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you guys next time.